September 29th, 2021, Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall for the Earth Removal Committee meeting. First thing on the agenda is Cedar Meadow Cranberry Inc., public hearing, map 120, lot 5, for an earth removal permit in the amount of 149,353 cubic yards.
Hi.
How you doing?
Clarity.
Sit right up, Mark, if you want to get closer, it's okay.
What's the best places to sit up?
Probably right there in the middle so everybody can kind of see it right where you are. Right.
Some,
Can you see it?
sometimes they use that. See where that one is? Both the audience and us can see it if it's there.
Yep,
Okay.
That's what they usually do.
that's fine.
In fact, if you could use that one probably.
No, he has to use his own because he already put it in the charge.
So you guys have that plan, this plan is full. You guys have the green card and what is next? Paper clips. Okay. Perfect.
We haven't seen you.
How you doing?
Okay. Thank you.
All set?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Mark Flaherty. I'm a civil engineer. Flaherty is Brownie over in Plymouth. I'm here tonight with Eric Ponte and Sue Mahar. Eric is the owner of Cedar Meadow Bogs, and we're here tonight for an application to be able to expand an existing tailwater recovery pond. This particular location is well off Ward Street, which is probably way up here. The trucks that would come in to be able to expand this 10.8 acre tailwater recovery pond would come in versus via South Meadow Road and come down and to go into this area over here to excavate the earth out to create this pond.
Okay.
So then the question is, why does Eric feel necessary to be able to expand the existing tailwater recovery pond? And if I could go through a few bullet points
Sure.
to be able to do that. So the application is to excavate pre-existing tailwater recovery pond that serves 40 acres of cranberry. The timing is to excavate over the next year to complete the project. The trucks would run from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. The access is trucks carrying sand and gravel traveling over power lines and exiting onto South Meadow Road. There's adequate site distance at South Meadow Road for the trucks. Neighbors have been notified, no responses. Homes are buffered along the power line by an 8-foot-high tall fence, so there's buffering there. The Edgewood Bogs, which is the neighbor, the adjacent bog owner, is upstream of Eric's Cedar Meadow Bogs.
That's on the other side of Ward Street, correct?
The other side.
Is that,
It's on the same side, but the
it's on the same side?
pond's on the other side.
Okay.
So the upstream butter controls South Meadow Pond. Presently, all the flood water from Edgewood flows via a canal to Eric's Cedar Meadow Bogs. After Edgewater harvests their bogs, the water then goes through the canal to Eric's Cedar Meadow. water then is reused by Cedar Meadow. After this season, Edgewater plans to take their bogs, their Edgewater bogs offline, right there, off that line, stopping, and all the water that's on South Meadow Pond right now would be cut off from Eric in his canal. They want to keep that water to be able to, I guess for themselves, to go through the queen bogs versus, and so Eric's left a little bit high and dry for the flooding for his harvest and flooding for his winter control.
Right. So you feel the existing water hole there now is not adequate enough?
Definitely not adequate enough
okay.
for,
Yep.
and that's the reason why, for 40 acres of bogs, that's
Right.
why he has to expand it.
Right.
So the expanded tailwater recovery pond allows Cedar Men to be able to require the flood water for harvest and for winter flooding. So it's been reviewed by Conservation. Conservation indicated that the cranberry bog business is an exempt activity, therefore they don't have to come in front and file a notice of intent because it's exempt.
And we have that from Conservation, correct? That's what you gave me, right, Eric?
So in short, that's pretty much the application itself. 10.6 acres would be the size of the tailwater recovery pond.
Yep.
And so Eric and Sue and myself are here to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. So on your area, on the area here where it says reservoir expansion area, you got 10.8 acres. And what is the depth that you're looking to reach?
Yes.
Pretty much, we're probably about maybe 10 feet down. Well,
About 10 feet down?
yeah.
The slope is 96 to 90, it's a 98 to 98.
Yeah. So your existing topo around it is
Yeah.
basically 100 to like 98, so it's pretty flat.
Yep.
So it's basically at existing bog dike grade, give or take, a foot or two.
There's 100, so we're going down.
What I'm asking, I guess, is that there's no existing hill
No.
that's coming down.
There's no hill
or
coming
nothing.
down.
Right.
It's all
flat.
The interior contours are elevation 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
see it.
he's bringing it down to elevation, I guess, on our sheet at elevation 90. So
Right.
essentially 8 feet, so.
Okay. Yep.
I had a couple questions. Your truck route map says out to Ward Street. You're going
Yeah.
out the power line now?
Yeah, it's gonna be, forget about Wood Street, it's gonna go right to South Meadow.
Right over
to
the power line.
lines, yes.
And you answered my other question when you said 40 acres.
And the road for the power lines, is that going to be addressed so it's passable? Obviously, in the order of conditions, we want a water truck, dust control, and all that stuff. You have contractors, landers that I see.
Yeah, most likely, so I think they would gravel that road, keep, daily watering, because they get rid of any dust.
Right. Okay. And yeah, and in the order of conditions, the first 100 feet have to be recycled, going out onto South Meadow.
Are there any trees on the 10.8 acres, or what's there now?
What do you have for vegetation?
It's mixed maple and oak. Some of it's wet and used already for the existing pond, so this is really an expansion of depth. The area is already mostly a holding area to begin with.
It's just not deep.
It's just not deep.
Yeah. Okay. So you really just have like scrub maples in it. Really, no
Yeah.
trees, right? It's just a couple here and there.
Right.
Yeah. Any other discussion from any members?
Yeah, Eric, your explanation on the water, Edgewood is going to change the direction of the water. So that pond that's right there, they're going to maintain that, so they're not going to have any water going from that area over to you.
Right, so they're
Right.
doing wetlands reserve on that particular section of bog that would come downstream from the
Yep,
pond.
yep,
So he's gonna stop that water flow, but part of his strategy is that he's keeping all of Queen Bog, or all the water in that pond for Queen Queen Bog, which pumps out of the other end of it.
Where would the water go if they're using it on the Queen Bog after they're gonna return it to the pond?
Right,
Or
so-
is there an outlet going the other way or something?
No, I think they would use it as kind of like a tailwater recovery. They take it from there and they put it back.
Pump it, yep, drop it back, okay.
And usually, unless they let it down or there's a lot of rain, there's no continuous flow out of that pond. That pond's fairly shallow, so
Yeah,
if you were to look at the depth of it, I think it gets even shallower towards Queen Bog. So that's why they're so cognizant of controlling that particular water height in that pond. Because
Yep.
it gets lower than the lift pump over there, and then they can't access any of the water. This end of it with the flume, you can drain the whole pond out if you wanted to.
now in the case of a 6-inch rain, there'll be water going your way. But that's
Possibly,
only, yeah.
Right.
Now, those bogs between the bridge where the flume is and your bogs, those are the Edgewood bogs. And
Correct.
those are gonna be going into conservation?
Correct.
Yep.
They're gonna do the easement with NRCS for the,
Okay, I'm saying this because I think we're at a point where we like to see the need for the water. It isn't just somebody's doing it for the gravel,
of course.
you
yeah.
know? So that works well when we're talking with our neighbors and such, you know? This is a need for our cranberry industry, for you.
Right.
You need that water. Okay, that, I'm good.
We really can't pick blocks without getting water.
No. Yeah, yeah. It's good to say it though, because we're on local TV, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that the people in our community know that there are reasons as to why you as a cranberry grower are doing this, this, and this. So good. I'm good.
Jim? Nothing? Nothing? Mike?
No.
You have nothing? Bill? Good. Do we have a motion?
Are we gonna do, Bob, before, I'm just wondering, are we going out for a site visit on this before we finalize the permit?
Before we finalize it?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna vote on it tonight?
I don't know.
I was looking to take the vote on it,
Yeah.
vote on it tonight.
I'm pretty familiar with this area.
Yeah,
I'm
me-
pretty
Yeah.
confident that
I
I
visited this with Gary
I think if
in
we,
the past.
I'm familiar with it too,
yeah,
Yeah,
and I just clarified, my concern is make sure that we need the water, you know?
no,
yeah.
and I think Bob just talk about improving the road
Well,
out to
that's
South Meadow.
gonna be in the order of
I
conditions.
mean, I think the
so-
order of conditions will cover our thoughts.
And they
It sounds
kind
like a
of-
well-needed project to run the cranberry operation and for them to prosper, so.
and
we-
We've
I-
already addressed the hours,
Yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah.
all right,
And no Saturdays either, so.
okay.
um,
Well, I'll make a motion that we move forward with this
I
permit
have one more question.
with,
Hold on, Dick.
Yep.
Michael has one more question.
What's the time frame and how many total yards?
So it's 145,000 yards over a 1-year basis.
Okay.
That Eric plans to take the trucks,
Okay.
to take that material out.
So, I'm sorry, Michael.
That's right.
I have one other question. How many trucks are you looking for? So that's one thing we have to discuss
per day,
per
Yeah.
day.
rough.
Fairly typical, I do the math now, but I think maybe you do 40 as a max, is that?
We do 50 as a max, but I don't think South Meadow would be good for 50. And I know you're looking to get it done in a year's time. You only have, by the way, Mark, you only have a year for the permit, and then you
Okay.
have to review it
Okay, I got you.
after 1 year,
Okay.
so,
Very good.
yes.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure?
Where are you bringing the
Material.
trucks loaded with sand and whatever
Yep.
and dumping them?
I think it would go to various construction jobs. It could potentially need the material, or it could be hauled back to Landers facility to be mixed with other products.
You don't know?
I don't know.
gonna be a combination of places.
But it's all sold for commercial, correct?
He has a processing plant, the contractor has a processing plant and whatnot.
Yeah. Historically, I think, more than 90% of it he brings back to Hanover.
Yeah, yep. Okay.
So what did we decide on, 40 trucks?
So that's the thing we're at. How many trucks a day?
I think
Where are you
40
asking
40 is
for?
reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, I think 40 would be good.
Board members, anybody have a
Even though it's a
opinion
heavily
on
used
that? Or-
street, it's still, it's wide open.
Yeah, that line of sight right there is
Yeah,
very
good.
good,
Both ways.
both ways,
Yeah.
yes.
The whole project sounds within reason to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to make the motion. I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we continue on with a permit based on what we usually use for our restrictions or cautions.
Right. And school bus
Times.
schedules. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, those are all in the order of conditions. So Dick, you made a motion?
I made the motion, yes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great.
We will send you the order of conditions. We have a new procedure, we send them to you, you sign them, you send them back to us.
Okay.
Okay. That's all we can say. But, and Darlene will be back this week, so she will contact you and get that all straightened out.
All right, thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night. On the application that we have here, it's gonna be permit 101 at the top.
All right.
I don't know, you, so here you put that soil.
All right.
That was pretty big.
Well,
There's no hill, there's no trees.
Right.
it's already a wetlands area.
It's already kind of like a holding.
Yeah.
It's just not.
He's just improving, he's improving this.
It's a need for more volume of water, you can see that.
Where that road comes up to South Meadow is really good because the truck drivers have a very good view of things going both ways.
It's really big right now.
I do remember though, we had some removal using that same road along the power line before, and it worked.
All right, next on the agenda,
D.D. Johnson.
we have Eric and Elaine Weston, public hearing, map 48, lots 8, part of 2-0.
Mr. Chairman, Darlene wanted to give this.
Yep, you have the,
Tear sheets and
the tear sheets in the,
insurance.
in the paper notice, right? Should I return that? Thank you.
And then, like.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
All right, so,
I'm Eric Weston. I'm here to have an application for earth removal adjacent to my cranberry bogs for location northwest corner of Carver between Fuller Street and Plymouth Street near Gateway Rovers Access Road and behind Leonard Street. So, just a brief explanation of history. This came to the earth removal
Yeah.
10 years ago or so, well, 11 years ago. This project never went forward. I was working with the landowner, Mr. Carlton. He went through with a different project that was approved, and then it was a cranberry bog and tailwater, foray pond
Right.
that was never acted upon. Mr. Carlton has reached out and is interested in pursuing something with the land again. So I'm revisiting my original plan, which was, the request for this earth removal is based on expansion of my water hole and a bypass canal. And that is kind of why I did the Google Earth, just to orient everybody. I don't know, it helps me. Just off the screen here is my lower reservoir. It comes through from the Fuller Street bogs, and it runs down through all the bog property, and then actually has to be pumped up into this reservoir, which is the reservoir for my bogs here. NRCS had it on my farm plan over here. So there's two parcels here that Eric and Elaine own the bogs just off the map, and this land up in here to the rear that adjoins Mr. Carlton. And then Northwestern Cranberries, my company, owns the adjacent bogs, which comes in on this side, the bogs you see represented here, but not the lane. So that's working with NRCS then, and then talking to NRCS now, working to have a bypass canal come in and expand the water hole, which is a water hole tailwater recovery pond. The expansion's based on last year's drought and 5 years ago's drought. I have a upper reservoir, it's very shallow, and last year was empty. So it was very difficult to get water to flood the bogs. I ran out of frost protection water at one point and had some frost damage. So this opportunity presenting kind of brings, a more efficient use of the water, brings a bypass canal, and it also brings an expansion of my existing water, giving me the use I feel will make the difference, significant to run the property in the drought. So this plan is from that time frame. It is still valid today. So this is the original tailwater recovery water hole pond, and there would be an extension from that, and it would come down, and then we'll go into it'll be flumed, and it'll come out of the bypass canal, which comes from the other reservoir, which is dammed up. Working with what was the standard that you requested back then, was a 50-foot setback from the line, 3-to-1 slopes. The only changing in that is we requested to go down to about 2-to-1 as you get down to the lower end, but the hill itself drops off, and the distance from the abutting properties gets greater. So it's really just to make, and that request is only just to make the angle work for the connection. This is I believe this was a 20-foot roadway dike, so it would be a sloping hill down to a road and then sloping into the reservoir. This area, this proposed elevation 100, much of that land, you can see the topos, is there, and the intent right now is that it would be just kept at that height. Potentially future bog renovation involvement, and I also, this plan's for 160,000 yards involving the Carlton property and my own. It's in my intent to use, to leave some sand, depending on the material, as we get into the back of the property, which is not known, but if it's decent bog material, to keep some of that on site for renovation and future sanding. So I couldn't honestly answer that question because it's going to depend on what ends up coming out of the hill in the back.
Right.
So,
So you'll have the storage capabilities if you do find out that it is.
In that, your storage capabilities in that proposed elevation 100 area, is that where you?
Yeah, I should have a lot of opportunity to work within that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's,
And that's the area just in front of the red on this map, if I'm, just to help out everybody, right? The red new addition bog there, I presume that's what that red is?
Yeah, that red does represent an existing renovation that took place.
So that area right there in front of
But
it?
it's this area that, anything basically between the blue and the bog, the
Yeah.
existing bog, would be down to elevation 100. So it would look just like this area to the right of the red.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense to people?
Yep.
As far as ingress, egress, I'm open to suggestions of the committee. There's two ways in and out. It's been proposed differently in the past,
yeah.
so whatever the committee thinks is the most valid
So
way.
I don't know if anybody remembers, there was, when they dug that existing water hole that's there now, they dug it deeper. I'm trying to remember, when Black Cat, I believe that's who the previous owner was?
That probably was like that.
It was Black Cat, right? And there was a earth removal going on then. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Do you have right of way to the motocross track road?
Yeah.
It is an entrance I use. Deed becomes a difficult question to answer, and during Mr. Carlin's last attempt, it's actually an ancient right-of-way called Wood Road that went from that intersection across the property, up on the hill, through Leonard and Elaine's neighborhood, and came out in the vicinity of Quickies.
Mhm.
He sat before the board with his attorney and termed that ancient right-of-way because his parcel is technically landlocked.
Right,
But that is a common entrance and exit for me off that road. And then I have frontage down on Plymouth Street. The last time I came in, it was suggested that the preferred that they enter from the eastern entrance and exit from the western entrance. The western entrance would be the Capeway Rovers Road, which is across from SLT.
yes.
Yeah.
And coming in and entering off of Plymouth Street.
I think that,
Entering off of Plymouth Street.
I mean, if that's what you can do, that would be ideal, because it's much better getting out of that
Yeah,
other entrance by SLT than it is coming
Yeah.
out the easterly entrance.
and so have you, and who has the right of way to that road? Or is there numerous people besides Mr.?
Yeah, so, in the history of it, so yeah, Capeway Rovers has it, as a road,
Yeah.
that's their, entrance and exit. It was an extra entrance and exit for, Northwestern Cranberries,
Yeah,
former Johnson Bogs, and the former Black Cat Bogs.
okay,
There's some, at different points, there's some
right,
shared ownership as it turns into the bog.
right,
And then, within the lot maps of the town of Carver, that is, the road itself is a parcel.
Yep.
Layout, it's a layout parcel, to Ravenbrook LLC.
to Ray, yeah, to the dump, right?
Yeah.
There's never been an issue in the past with all abutters using that road.
No, I
Yeah.
believe that the track is, it definitely been there since the fifties, I think the
Right.
owner told me it originally dates back to the thirties.
Right. But they also use that road for the Ravenbrook dump, correct?
Yeah,
At times.
at times, yeah, well, now they don't, the maintainer of the road is really me and the
Right.
motocross.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
There is
The only
access.
thing that comes in there is, well testing.
yeah, there is access for the, like, straight ahead off the entrance of that to the top of the dump for the solar.
Yeah,
farm,
right.
But
Yeah.
other than that.
Yeah.
So Eric, you're talking about the entrance would be down Plymouth Street
Yep.
in that way, and then out through the Capeway Rovers Road.
Yeah, and that was what was
Yeah.
previously suggested,
Yes.
and, I think that probably makes sense, but I'd be open to anything.
It's
the
a
board-
circular, it seems to make sense.
Yeah. That's a busy road.
It splits the traffic.
It's a
up
busy
little bit.
road, and when you're up
Plymouth
top,
Street
coming
is-
out of there, because I don't know if anybody remembers going down to this, but this was was like 11 years ago.
I remember it vaguely.
Yeah, so I think that's what we had
Vaguely.
agreed upon, that the line sight of view at the top of leaving was the best
Yeah.
alternative
Yeah.
to leave that site, which it is, because,
Yeah, you can see both.
right, and coming in they're coming in on that side, they're empty, and it's easy to come in and out of there easy.
On Plymouth Street, is there a house that's, I kind of remember there was a house off to, if you're looking at Plymouth Street, it was off to the right?
So there are houses, and I'm unclear of the question, which entrance are we talking about? And I can better answer the question.
Where you come out onto Plymouth Street.
Yes, that would be Dorian Lapworth. So we've talked about it.
Mhm.
We have a good, long relationship.
Yep.
So, I mean, besides the formal notifications that are required,
Yep.
we've met and talked.
Okay.
So,
I mean, he's experienced truck traffic there before, as you lived there all the whole time through those projects.
Well, it's a pretty truck traffic area because you have SLT construction across the street, MBO precast across the street, and who's further up?
Jeff Thomas.
Jeff Thomas, but he's small.
And then the
but then there's
trash
also
company.
the trash company up the
Yeah.
street there.
So they're pretty familiar with truck traffic.
And that is the industrial
Zoned.
zoned area of town,
Yeah.
is right there, so.
What are you talking about for a schedule of this, Eric? How soon do you want to complete the project?
well, so Mr. Carlton and I I'm here assessing the viability and the feeling of the committee. We will determine our final business arrangement. I am only participating in this, and that's why I'm here. If the final ownership is part of my agricultural bog property, and that I get the bypass canal and the extension of the water hole. So as soon as possible works best for me, but I'm here to get permit, and then I need to work more closely with a commercial contractor on what is a reasonable schedule based on the material and the markets that are available. So, I mean, I understand, I have a year, and I'd like to operate within that, and, if we came up, on that, I think it determines, how many trucks were allowed, and scheduling, and things like that, so. It's not an answer, but I don't know if that's a fair.
Eric, do you have any idea how much yardage would be leaving the site?
Yeah, it's-
So, yeah, it's.
100 to 120.
Yeah, again, trying to leave, again, it depends on the type of material. So this material is known to be, I guess the word is veiny. It's a mixed. There's some good sand and gravel, and then some borderline stuff. So depending on what actually comes out in the back, if it's good agricultural grade cranberry sand, some of it will be used in renovation, and a stockpile of sand for bog sanding.
So this piece of property, Eric, that's abuts you, that you're looking for the remove, this is in 61A, correct?
Which parcel of
The parcel with Carlton is,
no, I don't believe it's outside of 61.
is
It is deemed I don't know my terms correct, but I believe it's deemed like a landlocked remote parcel,
okay,
with a almost non-existent, a very low tax rate.
right, okay.
Yeah, I forget what they call those, but they have a name for it. So it's so strange that he owns that piece where.
Any other questions from the board? Do we wanna visit the site?
Again, it's an area that we've been in so often.
We visited it
Mhm.
Yeah,
numerous times.
Yep.
right, and it's pretty basic what's happening,
Yeah.
so. I don't think we need to.
Okay.
What do you think, Dave?
And the setbacks, this 50-foot setback is fine with everybody? That's the minimum anyways that we request.
Mhm.
Well, the setback increases after you hit that road,
Mm.
and it continues to go down to the bypass canal. So it's gonna be actually more than 50 feet to the actual water
We're
area.
talking about the property line setback
Yeah.
up top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was originally asked that there would be a 50-foot untouched area
Yeah.
from the abutters property lines.
right.
So it would be a 50-foot no touch area.
Yep.
And then the project would start from there and slope downward.
okay.
So Eric, some of this project is on your land and some is on his land. Is that what I'm getting
That
out
is
of?
correct.
That I'm getting out of the boundaries?
Yeah, when you get
So-
into the boundaries, when you get into the back corner,
Yep, that's what I'm looking at.
if you get back up in here, so this is a delineation, if you're looking at your map,
Mm-hmm.
this is delineation of the property. So when you get up into these back edges, it's my property, and then as we come up the hill here, the slopes are on my existing property.
Yeah, I see that. And then
And then-
you're moving that slope back, that, whatever footage that is.
And then it adjoins my other property down here, and there's really no excavation there, it's just an
Right.
involvement where
Yep.
if you bypass it, now it connects.
And you'll be the contact throughout the whole project.
Yes.
Any discussion, any more discussion?
I have one more quick
Yeah.
question.
Sure.
Do you know the acreage roughly that you're adding on
Of
of water?
water?
Yeah.
Yeah, playing around with Google Earth, it came out to be like 1.1, I think, acres of additional water to a current 6-acre, water hole.
And
Depth, trying to go at least 10 feet, but I'll have to work with a contractor to see what we can
Right.
do there.
Yeah.
And you think you can work with, what are you saying for trucking per day, Eric?
I defer to you guys. I think that, I heard typically 50,
50 kind of is the max we
Yeah.
allow, because that's in the vicinity of, what, 6 trucks per hour?
yeah.
In and out, you know?
I
So-
can't answer the question.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to approach and work with contractors that are going to work within the standards that you set by this board.
And
if-
we concern ourselves oftentimes with the bus schedule too,
Sure.
for the kids. But,
I personally think that 50 would be a little too much for that road.
Mhm.
That's my,
yeah,
you know,
there are already quite a bit of trucking. I know you go to those lights and you'll see SLT trucks coming
Right.
out of there.
those guys leave in the morning and come back in the afternoon though. Most
Yeah.
of those companies on that road. And most of the daily traffic on that road is automobiles.
but don't forget there's also a preschool at the end, just before Cumberland's there.
Yeah.
You know, I just think 50 would be too much.
So we think 35?
I was thinking around 35,
Yeah.
just to be safe. And if later on, if we see that it's going well or something, then we can maybe increase by
Or
5.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll,
I think that's reasonable. The only question I would have, just because there's a lot of unknown factors at this point, would be,
right,
could I come to the board if the contractor's like, in order to do this in a timely fashion and get it done appropriately,
right,
and we've had no incidents,
right.
maybe,
Yeah, we have no
I don't know if
problem
that's
with
something
that,
put
as long as
in
you
order
come in front of
conditions.
us, yeah, we have no problem, especially if he's gonna get it done sooner,
Right.
right? We would like to get it done sooner than later, so.
So we're only going 10 feet down?
In the water hole?
Yeah.
I need to go at least 10 feet, I'd like to go a little more. In all honesty, there's areas there and where I'm connecting to the current tailwater pond. I'll probably have to do some depth finding to see what actually it got removed to and how deep it is currently.
Oh, yeah.
And make sure that I at least match that. But I say, some of it also, it depends on the material that's underneath.
You'll be chasing
So I
good stuff,
say,
yeah.
So I say at least 10.
You're looking at 10 to a maximum of 15.
Yeah, no, we're not looking,
Well,
not looking to go.
it's pretty narrow, I mean, you're not gonna
Yeah,
go.
you're not gonna be able to get much anyways,
No.
just because of the slope, Michael,
Okay.
to
Yeah.
where it meets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a narrow, sloped add-on.
I don't
Yeah.
have
Okay. So,
And along here, we,
I mean, you're talking 25 feet across the bottom
right.
here, ish. Looking, 1 inch equals a foot, so I mean, it's not, you know what I mean, it's not.
Okay.
I
So in
almost
hindsight,
think-
you're
I almost
really-
think you should have went bigger.
so in hindsight, you're really hoping that there is good material, sand material there for the farm.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be ideal for you
Yeah.
in the long run, yeah. Yep. Anybody have any other questions?
No, I think, I picture it. Did we decide we were gonna have a visit? No.
No, we've
No,
already.
I remember it.
Yeah, I
I
remember it, yep.
remember going there with them, who's the owner of the other property?
Mr. Carlton.
Mr. Carlton?
From New Hampshire.
Yep.
Wasn't he with us at one time when we
Dixville
went out
Notch,
there?
or where he
Yeah,
was,
he could have been.
up in.
Is
that where it is?
Something
think so.
up in New
Good
Hampshire.
memory.
Yeah,
I can
but
go
I
visit.
know,
Maybe it's
I
not
know where
Dixville
you're
Notch.
talking. And it doesn't seem like it would be an adverse situation for the houses. And so, it sounds like an important need for your water and tailwater and everything for the bogs, so.
So Eric, will that water also help out with the people who own behind you?
Burgess Bog, or
Is that Burgess Bog?
Yeah,
what it used to be?
not directly, just because of the gradient of the water
Okay.
coming down.
Yeah.
In neighborly fashion,
Yeah.
there's probably a potential to do something.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If there's ever.
He's got a water hole on the front side.
Oh, he does? Yeah.
And it's connected to the
Yeah.
reservoir.
Okay,
But the water's higher before it leaves
I see.
that. But, yeah, no, there is a potential to pump it back through the bypass area,
Yeah,
and, work together if we had to.
if you had to, yeah.
And who would that, who's the
It
bog?
would be Greg Arnold.
Right on
Okay,
the
yeah,
house
yeah,
there,
all
right.
Right.
Yep, okay.
So there is a potential and desperate needs if it's accessible and you guys agree to work together,
Yeah.
if you had to.
Yeah. I mean, my time in the cranberry industry, historically, we operate independently until we need to work together.
Right.
And then we do.
Right. Right. Okay. Any further discussion?
Are we gonna put, limits on how deep, like 15 feet? And if you wanna go further, deeper, come back?
I really don't think we need to, because he's gonna be limited to his elevations all around him.
All right,
It's not gonna, it's just not gonna be a factor.
okay,
It's so narrow.
all right. Very good.
I mean, I don't know, I hate to,
All right.
do you think the same thing, Bob? Looking at the.
Well, I mean, we could put 10 to 15 feet on there and you're fine with that. So
Okay,
why don't we do that?
Yep.
So that
yeah,
limits it
and then
and
if
stuff.
you
And he's
need to
gonna
go
do some
further
depth
or
findings.
deeper, you can come
Right,
back.
you can always come back in front of us if you find out that there's
Right.
good material there. Because the more acre water feet you get, the better off you are.
Right.
But you may say, no, I can't go anymore, that's it. So as long as it doesn't infringe on this here collapsing at
Yep.
any point or
Okay.
anything, so.
Okay,
It's narrow on this
Yeah,
end.
it's
This
really
end.
narrow here, Michael, so he's not gonna really get.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean,
Much
both
there.
ends, he's got this one spot right here he could poke down, but then it's just gonna sit there, because it's
Yeah.
not gonna get to the pump.
Right.
okay.
Very limited.
But we'll put 10 to 15 feet on that.
That is
on,
acceptable.
And you're gonna initially start with 35 truckloads a day.
Yep.
Yep. Everything else will be standard from our point of view.
And we would like the entrance to be Plymouth Street, what would you call that, east, you said?
It's the,
Plymouth
yeah,
Street
it's
east,
my
and
entrance on the
then
east.
the exit would be Plymouth Street west.
West,
Yeah.
which are, currently asphalted and gravel that have to measure the distances, both aprons. The east one was not an asphalt during the
Yes,
previous removal.
Well, the contractor that you decide to have will have to take care of those entrances and exits anyways.
And then, yeah, the exit has it as
Right.
well, so.
Yep, and the signs. yeah.
Dust control or?
Yep, that's all in the order of conditions that he'll receive.
Is that just standard stuff you have written, Bob?
It is, it's a standard template of the order of conditions, unless we discuss something
Something different?
different.
Specific.
And then, are you opposed to keeping Saturdays out?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if it became an issue in the project, I just ask it, can you come back to the board?
Absolutely. You can always come back to the board.
Sure.
There's not an issue with that.
Yep.
No.
No,
But if
and
we could eliminate Saturday, it's only a half a day anyways.
yeah, and I would also, I mean, for myself on the bus, you know, the other thing I would want to do is work with my neighbors, and the motocross is on weekends, it's an erratic schedule.
Right.
But I wouldn't want something happening on the same time that.
That's the whole reason why I wanted to eliminate the Saturdays. So,
Yeah, that's right, it's very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way there, there's no issue with
That's-
anything.
The rest of the time, that road is desolate.
Right, right. So, okay,
And by that, I mean the access road, not Plymouth Street.
right, right. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion on the?
I'd like to move to approve the application by Eric Weston for
Map.
some excavation for enlargement reservoir off of Plymouth Street.
Do we have a second?
Second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Permit 102,
Permit 102,
congratulations.
permit 102, map 48, lots 8, parcel of 2-0. And Eric Darling will be back tomorrow. So she'll get those order conditions for you, and she'll reach out to you and have those.
Yeah, and everything she should have requested should be in that envelope.
It is in that envelope, yep,
And,
yep.
if there's anything, she knows.
Okay.
She can contact.
And you'll get the order and conditions, and then you'll sign them and then send them back.
Okay.
Okay. That's a new,
Take a copy of it.
that's a new policy.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's see. Look at the agenda.
Yeah. My wife is going to bring down a iPad
Oh,
and have it record further.
yeah.
Really having trouble.
Good luck, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Good evening.
Oh, that's yours. Try to let the other guy use it.
If we could.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, if we could review the minutes of the last meeting. I think everybody was here, except for John Schultz was not here.
Comment. I like the notes. They're pretty easy to read, they're to the point, and they don't get extended too long.
This gentleman got some business with us.
I'm sorry?
Hi, sir, are you here to,
You hit, just to observe?
Just to observe.
Yeah.
oh. And who are you, sir?
Doug Radigan. I've been here.
Attorney.
I'd like to know.
Chairman, you want a motion?
Is,
Finished yet.
still waiting for, to finish?
Okay,
Yeah, the new monthly cubic yardage sheet is, looks really good.
Yes.
Should make life quite a bit better for us.
All right, I'm ready.
Do we have a, motion to approve the minutes of the last
So move.
meeting of 8/25/21?
Right.
I'll second the motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Minutes approved. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, inspection site visits, discussion with committee, SLT off of Spring Street, Cranebrook LLC off of Cranberry Road, Edgewood Boggs off of Tremont Street, and Foley off of Rochester Road. So SLT was put off. We did not visit that one. Cranebrook LLC off of Cranberry Road. We were there, who was there on that day? That was, me, you, and Michael, correct?
yep,
Yep.
yep.
Jim, you weren't there, but,
No, I don't think
it's complete.
Mhm.
Any discussion? Bill, you didn't make it there?
So we probably should issue a closure report on the permit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, we're gonna issue the new closure permits process to them,
Mhm.
and they're gonna sign that and bring it back to us, and then the permit is closed officially.
Good.
It actually looked good, the solar was done, everything was done correctly and stuff, so.
What date was that, those visits?
Those visits were.
Saturday the 17th?
Today?
That's just off the top of my head.
17th, right?
8/17.
That's
I'll
the top
say
of my
like a
head.
week, 2 weeks,
No, the
from this
The
Saturday.
18th, wasn't it?
It was.
It was the 18th.
18th, yes.
18th?
My
It was
wife's
the
birthday.
18th.
September 18th.
Yeah.
September 18th, yes.
Saturday, yes. How
So-
could I forget
So
that?
Cranebrook got the, is gonna get that permit, and everything was complete. Edgewood Boggs off of Tremont Street. So, I talked to Jared after we visited again, and he went back and looked in his paperwork for the thing. All that material, they have been rebuilding all those bogs out front that you see off of Federal
Yeah.
Road.
Mhm.
And the majority of that material was used for rebuilding those
Right there.
bogs, the new dikes they're putting in and everything.
Yep.
Because we saw that dirt, it was all like fill
We
and
did.
stuff. They said they took out a few loads, but I think it went over to the other side
Mhm.
Yeah,
also.
that would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty, it was just fill. There was nothing good about, no sand could be
Yeah,
used,
right.
but all the new dikes that they built up
Good
front
dikes.
there, to the right of the shop and to the left of the shop,
Mhm.
is where that was going. So, but he did have that on the permit,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but he never used it. They used it for a lot of the interior work
Mhm.
that they accomplished
All
there.
right, that explains it.
well, down through the middle of there, if you remember, there was just a little wheelbarrow dike
Right,
that went down
Yeah.
through there, you know. They expanded that and made it
right.
a good solid dike, yeah.
Then they also filled in
Yeah.
partial.
Over on the right, yep.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
So, that makes sense for that there. And then the other side that we looked at where the water hole was going in,
Mhm.
it's obviously going, it's slow going. They have a lot of peat there, so that market for that peat. But I think they were only like, what? I don't even think they were halfway done.
No, it's like a quarter.
It was like a quarter done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when Darlene gets back, we're gonna review when that permit was issued and
Okay, good, yeah, we can review the numbers.
so then we can review the numbers, what we've got paid,
Yep.
and where we're at in time frame. So,
Who buys peat?
You know, I've bought in peat in the past to tighten up the bottom of the bog. Like if you build an upland bog,
Yeah,
it obviously still
Solid.
has very good drainage, so you have to tighten up with impervious material.
They also mix it in for golf course mix.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Used to be used, I know, in tennis courts too, but
yeah. Really? Huh. Wow. You'll have the companies up in Canada that have the peat farms.
Mhm.
They only take off like a half an inch at a time,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But, okay, so that was Edgewood bogs. And then Mr. Foley, he's not quite done yet,
Mm-hmm.
but we went there and it looked beautiful with the blueberries that he's gonna be
Yeah,
planting.
it looked pretty
He was about
impressive.
3/4 of the way done, and I was impressed by that.
Yep.
Where's that project?
Off of Rochester Road.
You can
just
see
before the
it
bridge.
from Rochester
just
Out
Road.
before
behind Kivi's old bogs.
Oh, so that new gravel pit that's right there.
So what you see, all those organic hills going up like this, there's all windrows that are 6 by 3 feet high,
Yeah.
I'd say. In between, that's all gonna be high bush blueberries.
Oh,
And it actually looks beautiful. I mean, like beautiful.
nice.
The left side there has been loomed and hydro-seeded, and then they're just gonna be working on that back, and he should be done, I'd say, this week.
And he was gonna finish, was that water hole thing
That's another
That's
project.
a different
connecting them? That was a
project.
different
Yeah,
project.
Yeah,
come
that was a
before
different
us.
project.
Okay.
Yep,
For that.
yep, that was a different
There
project.
was a little,
Yeah.
So he should be done in the next
Water
week,
there,
week and a
not much.
half, and that'll be another permit that we close out.
That would be good.
And so I told him I'd go back there and take some pictures, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna wait till he's completed with it.
Yep.
And if the
Those
board,
pictures will be good to show the community.
yeah, I mean, it was, I thought, I was
Right.
very impressed with it, so. He did what he said he was gonna do, and it looks great.
What's his plan with the high bush blueberries? Is he gonna,
Says he has some contracts maybe in the work to sell them, or he's also maybe favoring you pick them,
yeah, like a U-pick? thing
you
or
pick
something?
them type thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Interesting.
So,
I can taste them now.
but, it was very, it was very intriguing how he did it and stuff. It looks great.
But it looks good from Rochester Road too, as you look past down through the farm, you know?
I mean, if he
So-
does a you pick 'em, just picture the community
Yeah,
heading out there and with the
Yep.
kids, like you see in apple
Mhm.
picking and stuff, I think it's like 5 or 6 acres of high bush blueberries he's gonna have there, maybe more, I'm not quite sure. But anyways, yeah, that one there looked fantastic. So that's that. Next on the agenda, we're gonna review the earth removal account and updated documents. We can review the account. As we can see, the sheet isn't as big as it used to be.
Thank God.
but the print is smaller.
No, no. All right. Permit
I'm all right.
number. Data permit, application, projects, conditions, removal not to exceed. active.
Did we used to use description of property before, Bob? I
Excuse
think
me.
that's a good column, because we can look quickly to see how many yards of material, are gonna
Yes.
be removed.
Yeah. And,
Um,
excuse me. And so if we review the account, we have a balance of August 25th is $155,131.18.
Have there been any requests from DPW, Bob, in the last 2 months?
Yeah, remember we
We did vote
did
on it.
Ransom Street and the line painting.
Yep, that's right.
The Ransom Street project was in excess of $100,000 to repave it, and the
Yep.
line painting also. Excuse me, that is completely no burden to the taxpayers in the town of Carver.
You're right. Good.
Strictly came out of earth removal account, like every street that's done, infrastructure. And I don't know if there's any other infrastructure going on. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I think we're done for this
Yeah,
year.
it was done for this year,
Till
right?
next year.
Right. Right. Mr. Wood said that maybe, when they ask us for guardrail,
They're doing some line painting, finishing up some line painting, but I think
Yeah.
that'll be the end of it.
that'll be the end of it, yeah.
No big projects.
Yep. All right,
That
so,
I see you got Johnson and Cranberry, okay.
yes. She had it the whole time. I guess it was in a different mailbox.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion on the account?
No, it's good.
Okay, so in the packet also, what we have is the monthly truck sheets. So these will go out in the order of conditions. And as you can see, at the top corner, it will have the permit number, the issued approved yardage, and then also, every time we get the monthly sheet,
Yep.
it's gonna also, they're also gonna tell us the remaining yardage, so we
Okay,
know
That's a good idea.
where it's at,
Right.
That's a good idea.
so
I mean, that way, we can follow it.
we can
You know,
follow
we-
it day to day.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're gonna have a daily record of the trucks and such going
Right.
up.
It's more paperwork for them, but that's okay. So
Well,
we'll be able to go through, these monthly truck sheets and look at the permit number. I know we're still gonna get paid quarterly, but we can still look at it and see where we're at in the phase of the project itself.
well, our biggest concern is being able to check the yardage
Right,
back and forth.
right.
And if we're doing that, then the money that's coming in will be correct.
Yes.
And you'll have a better track if they're on track.
We'll have
Yeah.
a better track of also truck traffic and also monies coming in
Yes,
and what's remaining.
Yep.
You know, so that's that sheet. Is there anybody that looks at this and sees anything different that they could add to it or take away from it? Or is it okay?
Gives us a much better feeling for what's gonna happen with the project, when it might be, finished and so on.
And so each permit holder, I know we have folders and stuff, but I told Darlene that I'd like to get 3 ring binders.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're gonna have a lot of truck sheets in it.
Bob, in a commercial sale,
Yes.
are we gonna use the same sheet? Because if we
It
are,
says 10.
that 10 cents a yard wouldn't apply.
Or you could just,
No, it would not.
Stand
And I
by.
think Michael mentioned that.
Yeah.
That
I
is there a
thought-
column for commercial at 25 cents?
That's what I thought we
Yeah,
were
I thought
missing
we-
something. Yeah.
Right. So under the 10 cents, it should be
25 cents.
that, and then over here at another line, right beside it should be 25 cents commercial,
Wow.
right?
So you'll have 2 columns, one for the 10 and one for the 25.
Right, and they could just write in not applicable for the 25 cents
Yeah.
because it's not a commercial.
Mhm.
Well, they don't even have to enter any if there's none.
Just leave it blank, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, some companies will use it, some companies will
Right.
not.
Right, yeah.
So that also makes me think that we should almost, if it is commercial, we should put commercial permit at the top.
Uh-huh.
Do you need a
Yeah.
commercial sheet?
That's what I'm saying, we'll just have sheets that say
separate sheet.
commercial, it'll be the same sheet, but it'll say commercial permit,
Right.
and then it'll still have the 25
And then
cent.
just make a 25 column instead
Yeah,
of
or
10.
we could put commercial or standard earth removal. Any suggestions
Well,
on that?
it's in a way, it's all commercial, but, anything related to agriculture is the 10 cents versus the 25. So why couldn't you use the same sheet?
Sheet. Mhm.
Add well, you're saying put commercial across the top,
Yeah,
that would apply to both.
right.
Or we could just say, 10 cents per yard for agriculture, and then underneath it, or 25 cents, so they could fill out 10 cents a yard, 25.
Yeah, I think like you said, we should have another column right beside it,
Yeah.
right? That says 25 cents per yard.
Or just keep it the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
yes,
the first one would be 10
10
cents
cents.
a yard, and then
Yeah.
the other one 25,
and the next one would be
Yeah.
25, right?
and then 10,
The
and
next
then 20,
column.
yeah.
Well, I think he's saying use the same column and just add 25, just add the words
Yeah.
25 cents, and then
Commercial.
if it's commercial, they'll write commercial down on the trucks going out, is that what you're?
Or just put in, 25 cents commercial.
And they can
And
just write it in on each
And
truck,
write it in,
whatever
and
it
then,
is.
and then the next was agriculture, that's
Right.
10, and 25.
You could put 10 cents per yard agricultural
And you can use
25
the
cents
same
per
sheet.
commercial. Use the same column.
Yeah.
And you don't have any, oh, this was commercial, that's not, blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
I don't think, I think when we give out a permit that's commercial, the whole thing is commercial,
Correct,
right?
right.
So,
But we're gonna be using this for the agriculture people and the commercial people. So we should just say, 10 cents a yard, agriculture, 25 cents a yard, commercial, and then they would just, oh, it's commercial, 25 cents, 25 cents.
yeah, right, so in another line item, right, just like this column, but put another column
No,
there. No.
He's just saying, do it right in the same column.
Same
Oh, right,
column.
the same column, okay.
And
so if
just
you're a
put-
commercial person, you're just gonna put
You can write 25 cents a
25
yard.
over 25,
Yeah, that's all.
25.
Right.
And if you're an agriculture person, you just write 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Right.
And you don't have to have a different sheet
Yeah.
per se.
Well, we
for
don't, I mean, how many commercial permits have we actually given out? As far as I know,
SLT.
it was SLT and,
And
the
one
old
behind
Nemasket, the old
Abishon.
Nemasket 44,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like been two
Yeah.
in the past, really since I've been on there, I
Mhm.
think, right?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Could turn around.
right. Yeah. All right, so we'll make that minor adjustment to it.
Yeah, or you can put another column in, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
We can work that out, Bob.
Yeah. So everybody's good with the base print of this,
Mm-hmm.
and Darlene, we're also gonna put it on a spreadsheet in the computer. So
Yep.
it's in the computer also. So we're gonna have hard copies in the computer. So that's that one. And the next one, this is the permit, notifications clears the Carver earth removal permit issued according to the order of conditions dated as officially closed, effective date, signed. We sign off on it and we file it and the permit's closed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So this is your closing letter.
this is our closing permit, yeah. Yep. The only thing that I wanna do to this is just put, lines with everybody's committee name on it, so we can all sign it,
Okay.
you know? Unless you see something different too, you
Nope.
wanna put.
And rather than permit name, we're gonna start putting permit
We're
numbers.
gonna start putting
So we
permit
should
numbers on it.
also have,
She's gonna, yeah,
gonna add that.
yep, we're gonna add permit,
All right, permit
Permit
name,
number.
Johnny Jones, and then permit
Right.
number 101 or 7001.
yep.
Looks good.
So that's that one. All right, next on the agenda, discussion of the earth removal computer and printer. I'm looking to have everybody vote on whether or not we're gonna have to take out of the account to fund us a computer and printer for the earth removal committee.
You've already given us a little background on that in the
Yes.
past meetings.
Yeah,
And so did Darlene.
right,
So I don't think there's been much question on the need,
right.
but I don't see any reason why it shouldn't apply that we take that money for that from the account.
Right, right. I just want the members to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
discussion and also vote on it.
Yeah.
What were you saying about the accountant?
The,
I missed what you said.
On the earth removal account, the money
Oh,
should
yeah,
be
yeah.
taken
Yeah.
from there.
We have 155, 131 with.
Yeah.
probably I shouldn't wear the mask when I'm talking.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So are we
Understandable.
all in agreement let's take a vote on it?
Well, I
Absolute
make a
max.
motion that we buy that computer as a necessary,
And printer.
and printer,
Yeah.
yeah, as a necessary apparatus for us to keep track of all the finances and loads and
And permit numbers
so on
and
and so
everything.
forth, yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
those opposed? The ayes have it. Perfect. Darlene will be so happy.
It will.
All right, next meeting.
Can I say one thing about the computer and printer? Just, I would get.
Sure.
I would get a printer that's,
Compatible.
compatible with everything that's
Right.
in here,
Yeah.
that's all.
Also, on that computer, we're gonna set up email.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it'll be like Dick Ward, D Ward /ERC committee.
So that will mean, now remember, I'm not very computer literate.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little seminar when we get it. We're gonna set
Okay.
it up
All right.
and Darlene will go
And
over
how it will
everybody,
relate
so
to our
everybody's comfortable.
computer
Yep.
or our cell phone.
Right. Yep.
Okay, good,
Okay,
yes.
is everybody? Next meeting, last Wednesday of,
Do we need any visitations, Bob, that we haven't done?
I'm gonna go through that list. I usually go through that during the week.
Yep.
To see, like I said, I went to SLT today, and had a discussion with them about that. I'm gonna have that on the next agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are we all gonna go to SLT at some later date, or we're just gonna
We
take what
can,
you did?
we can.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. I'd rather, if we can, I'm gonna set up some more meetings, and
Mhm.
then in the mix of that, I'll put their name on that. If you guys have time to go there, we can all go there.
Okay.
You know?
Okay,
So, I got permission today to go there. I've already talked to Jason, that foreman. We got permission to go there anytime we want. So we can just go there, whether they're gonna be there or not. They do what they have, they all have homes up north for some reason, so.
well, you may have, I may have a few questions, but you may have the answers.
Yeah,
But we really need to get that on the agenda to follow up.
right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Okay,
So the next meeting,
Wednesday, the 27th.
Wednesday, the 27th.
So site inspections will be, as news follows, you'll.
Yes, yeah.
Can you give me a little bit more notice, just so I can try to
Oh, yeah,
schedule it?
yeah,
in a little
absolutely, yeah, right. Yeah, so,
are you the one that had football practice, Bill?
bit? Yeah, I can
Okay.
juggle that around a little bit.
Good, no, yeah.
Yeah.
what'd you say was, Michael, the last Wednesday? was
Last day, the 27th, 10/27.
7 o'clock on October 27th.
Mhm.
And some days, Bob, during the day, I can get to you too.
Yep.
On a short notice.
Yep.
Weekdays.
So I'll get that list out ASAP, so we can set up before the next meeting and do those visits. So,
Okay, good, yeah, good.
I've just been waiting for, when Darlene gets back, I just want to see where she's at with the,
You've done a bang-up job already, it's sort of straightening things up. And
yeah, it's a little bit at a time. You do too much, it gets,
You've done a lot, Bob, isn't
No, we haven't.
There's a lot of, you put a lot of time into this,
yeah.
revising everything.
There's a lot more, but, thanks to you guys, it makes it easy too, so. All right, so October 27th, 7 o'clock. I'm assuming it'll be meeting room 4 again. I'm not sure why we were up here today, but the meeting room will be, pending. And so, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
What's the move?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You want me to sound the gavel?